So I've been told that you need some more information about the card making process as I go along, so I'll do that. This is from Sizzix. This is an acrylic stamp. So you'll get this, and you can use this. You can either stick it on an acrylic block, and these come in all different sizes. You can get large acrylic blocks like this, and then you would stamp it, or you can stick it on an acrylic stamp platform. This is Tim Holtz. It's this one was out of the country. You'll see everybody using the Misty. I just couldn't afford it. It's probably 100% worth it, but you can see this. So you can line it up and stamp multiple times. And I am not a neat crafter. And I save my tape. So the good thing about this Sizzix set is that it gives some die cuts. So you can stamp it, then stick it through your die cutting machine. I have that here. I have the Evolution. So let's go ahead and get started. That's Victor. He's inspecting everything. Everything good, Victor? So you can see I have a bunch of paper. I cut mine out ahead of time. I pulled out a white sheet, and I'm going to stamp it with some Stays On and some Kaleidocolor by Calypso. The Stays On is permanent. It dries very quickly. This is going to dry a little bit slower, and it smears if you're not careful, and so you might want to use a drying tool. And take your Stays On and kind of rock it. Don't smash it or you'll end up getting a bunch of ink bleeding down. I teach this. Some of my new students, they want to just smash it down real hard. Don't do that. It'll waste a lot of ink, and it won't stamp well either. So you can see. So if we had used a stamping block, we would have had one shot. But you can see, we can go back over this. So this thing has made all the difference in the professionalism of my cards and enjoyment of the cards. Oh, and that, you can see it did actually move, but two stamps were fine. So I'm going to flip it upside down. Use a baby wipe to wipe that down. Well, I re-inked this. I'm going to try it again. And see how good that came out great. If you want, you can make it a little bit darker. And then I'm going to flip this around and ink it again. So I'm happy with those. And so my stamps, I can use colored pencils or marker. But first I want to pull this off immediately and clean that. So I don't know if you all have one of these Stampin' Scrubs, and then you can buy the rubber stamp cleaner, or there's another one, Stampin' Mist. This has been a godsend. This has also made a big difference in my stamping. So it also cleans your Misty or whatever, your Tim Holtz platform. Or if you were lucky enough to get the $11 one that was banned for breaking all the rules. So this has made a big difference in my stamping. I'm going to use the blending markers. You can see I started with these. I'm not great at blending, but you can see what I did here, and I'll continue that here. And up on this one, I plan on using the Prismacolor. And I'll show you what that looks like. So this was colored with the Prismacolor Premier colored pencils. You can get the colored pencil watercolors, which I like as well. And this side was done with the blending markers. These happen to be from Tuesday Morning from American Crafts. So I've used some purple tape to tape the dies, and I'm using this Scotch brand. I would prefer to use the Post-it brand. It's got a very low tact. I don't know where to get a hold of that, but I've seen other crafters use it. And I'm going to go ahead, sandwich this in, and put it through. So now we're putting the sandwich through. I do have this on my deepest die cut. And let's see what this looks like. Hopefully it cut through. Yay. So it looks pretty good. You know, I'm not a great colorer, if that's the verb. I'm not somebody that colors well, but I'm really happy with those. I think I prefer it with the, and it's worth noting, if you don't have the matching die set, you can always grab some scissors and fussy cut these yourself. I do most of my, I do mostly fussy cutting. I don't have very many matching dies, so this is unusual for me. So I really do like the look of this, and it's quicker, but I do enjoy fussy cutting, and that way it keeps my prices lower because I can't afford to buy matching dies. So we're looking for a background to put these on. We could use an embossing folder, put a piece of paper in there, and put it through this machine just like we did the die cut, and it will leave these impressions, and then we could add these. But I was showing you earlier from these paper packs, which I don't usually like the designer paper, but I love these. You know, while we're all inside quarantine, this just seems so happy and beautiful and relevant to what we're going through right now. So we love you, Italy and China and the US. We're all going to get through this. So an A2 card is what you get when you fold an 8.5 by 11-inch piece of paper. So then you make the base of your card, and it's going to measure. You can watch anybody just type in how to make an A2 card. There's plenty of those out there. But it is, you can see 5.5. That's half of 11 by 4.25, which is half of 8.5. So 4.25. Then if you're going to make your bases, I make mine a little bit smaller. Everybody's seems to be a different size, but so mine's 4 1/8 by about 5 3/8. So I like mine to fill up the card, and it's going to look like this. And we just go ahead and start figuring out what we're going to do and kind of mess with that. I keep my pop-up tape right here, so we'll probably use some pop-up. And of course, the glue of all glues is some art glitter glue, and something I just found you might like is glossy accents. So You know, don't put it on everything, but it's nice to add a glossy accent to something. So we might use that. So I was reluctant, and my mom went ahead and bought it for me because I was going through the tape runners like crazy to buy this art glitter glue. It's $20 for this and then another bottle of it, and I have not ran out of it. So I'm really grateful she bought me that, and I will never buy the tape runners again. And use the thinnest. Seriously, Abby? So, to conclude, we just went ahead and used art glitter glue. Some of them popped up, and some jewels. You can see for a little dimension right there. And if you want to add a little bit of dimension and you don't want to put on the jewels, I'm going to show you the glossy accents. You can do this. This is new to me, and it bubbles very easily. So let me show you one little area. So they recommend turning it over, like doing a little spot, because that gets the little bubble out. Good grief, it's stuck to my nail. That's fine. We'll just make the glossy accents, these flowers here. And when they dry, it'll just be a little glossier and a little popped up. Now you could do that for the words over here. So this is the acrylic black. I'm just going to make a matching. You can further color those in. But there you have it.